Welcome to Coffee Time. My name is Pastor Glenn Bake. Coffee Time is just a little series that Anchor Baptist Church is doing in order to just get out some real practical Bible truth to y'all. I'm going to try to do these, keep them short, keep them regular, and keep them practical for you. Things that I think that the Lord lays upon my heart to share with you guys that I think are practical and will help you in real life. So I'm going to start a series here with this video. Is going to be the first in a series that I'm calling the 7 Laws of the Harvest. Just simple principles. I think that the 7 Laws of the Harvest are practical. I think that they will help you in how you make decisions, what you put into your life, and then therefore what you get out of it, right? So let's take a look at this idea of the harvest. We have, if you're watching these in a timely manner, we have Thanksgiving coming up here, and we all often think about this idea of harvest around Thanksgiving time and all that's related to that. But here in this series, we're going to use Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 and 8 as sort of our go-to text as we look at this idea of the laws of the harvest. That text is Galatians 6, verses 7 and 8. It says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting." So this goes to that. Oftentimes people will, when they hear this scripture, they think of that phrase, right? You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. And yes, that's a good principle, and it's true. You reap what you sow. Usually, though, when they say that, they say that because they have a negative connotation that they are kind of going along with when they do that, right? In other words, they're saying you did something stupid, and because you did something stupid, now you're paying for the consequence of that stupid thing you did. You put something negative in, and you're getting now something negative out. It's usually how that passage is perceived. It's usually how people perceive the idea of you reap what you sow. However, it's not necessarily all negative. There are a lot of things in your life that are positive, that you've put in positive things in your life, and you're getting back those positive things. So it can be a positive thing as much as it is a negative thing, this idea of reaping what you sow. You put good things in, you're going to get good things back. If you put bad things in, you're going to get bad things back. So there's a positive and a negative to this idea of the laws of the harvest. So let's get into this first law of the harvest before we get any further. The first law of the harvest is this: you reap only what has been sown. You reap only what has been sown. So there's several truths that we could get from this idea of only reaping what has been sown. Life is filled with choices that affect us on an everyday basis in everything we do, which means then that our choices are not without significance. The decision you make today has an effect on what you end up with tomorrow. And you might think this decision I'm making today is minor, it's small, but that minor decision might have a bigger result or a bigger consequence, a bigger reward, even if it's positive, than what you think is so small today. So you reap only what has been sown. And if you're experiencing things good or bad in your life, those things are a result of what was sown somewhere, and not necessarily something that you sowed. It might be something that someone else sowed that you are receiving a harvest from. Um, that's both good and bad as well. There are things that happen in your life that you're receiving a harvest from that might be something that you did that is good or bad, right? I spent a long time and I put a lot of work into this, and now I'm starting to see the results. That can be a good thing. I have chickens here at my house. I just recently they're just now, because we weren't able to get them as soon as we wanted, because with COVID going on, we had a hard time getting chickens um, uh, as early as we want chicks. I mean, the little chicks, and they're just now coming into this time where they're starting to lay eggs. And the problem is that now we're down to like 8, maybe 10 hours of daylight in a day. Maybe probably less than 10 hours a day. They need like 14 to be laying well. So I've been trying to put things into my chickens in a sense to try to encourage laying. They are starting to lay, some of them, but they are just coming into this laying maturity level at a time when the daylight's less, and they'll lay less. So yesterday I put in a light in my chicken coop. I put the light in to try to get a better harvest. I'm investing into my chickens in order to try to get them more daylight in a day so that I will get a better harvest, right? So that investment, actually this morning, and I'll share a picture on here. This morning I got five, I'm not used to the flipping of my camera, sorry. I got 5 eggs this morning from my chicken. That's the most I've had in one day. Of course, I have 21 chickens. I'm hoping now, and I'll keep you updated the next time I share a video if I'm getting more. I'm hoping to get a lot more than that. I have 21 laying hens out in my chicken coop. And so I wanted to see more eggs. So I already have seen some benefit to my investment, right? I put some extra effort into my chickens trying to figure out what I need to do. I found out they need about 14 hours a day of light, and they'll be encouraged to lay more. So, and I've already seen a little bit of more production, because I was getting about 3 eggs a day. Now I'm getting, just the first day after doing it, I got 5 eggs. And I might just see more production anyway because they get older and they're getting more mature. But I suspect that in a week, I'm going to see 10 eggs a day. We'll see if I'm right. But I'm putting something in so I get a harvest back, right? A positive thing in this case. As you put things into your life, those little things that you do, you're going to start seeing results from, and you stick with it and you keep harvesting and you keep sowing into your life good things, and good things are going to come back. The problem is we often put negative things and they come back as well in a negative way. I didn't lay the eggs out there for my chickens. The chickens lay the eggs, but I have put into my chickens, right, in order to get that back. But the chickens, when I go and I fry an egg, it's a result of the harvest the chicken made. Sometimes there are things that are happening in our life that are a result of something somebody else did, good or bad. Somebody else did something horrible to you in your life, and you now have to deal with some of the consequences of their horrible thing. That is just the truth of life. And sometimes we need to understand who did the sowing, so we understand why I'm experiencing this harvest. Sometimes we want to blame ourselves for something that somebody else did. So it's an important idea to understand you only reap what has been sown. That doesn't mean you sowed it. It doesn't mean that you didn't sow it either, though. Sometimes we are paying for the price that we paid. We're paying the price. We did something dumb, and we're going to pay the price for that dumb thing that we did, right? That's just the way it is. Ephesians 5 verses 15 through 18, it says this: See then that we walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding that what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. He says, walk circumspectly, not as fools, he says, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. He's saying, be careful about the decisions you make. Make good ones. Don't be foolish, because your actions have consequences and they have rewards. Psalm 90, verse 12, it says, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Again, a positive side and a negative side. John 4:38, it says, I sent you to reap that whereupon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors. He's saying other people sowed, right? They labored, they put the work in, and they sowed, and you are benefiting from, you're harvesting what they sowed. I think of our soldiers in the United States when I think of this idea sometimes, because they sowed some things so we could have freedom, and we could maintain that Bill of Rights that we have in our Constitution, right? We could maintain our freedoms because they sowed some work. They sowed sometimes their own lives, and we are benefiting from what they put in. You are not necessarily the one that put in the time, but you may be receiving a harvest, positive or negative, because somebody else sowed something. God sows positive things into us all the time. I just reaped a harvest. The very air that I'm breathing is a harvest that I am reaping of what the Lord has sown into this world. And I'm reaping the harvest of it. My heart is beating in my chest because God created man in his image, and I received the harvest, the benefit of that, right? So there are things positive and negative all over this world that we are reaping, but know this, anything that you are receiving in your life, positive or negative, is a result of something that was sown somewhere into the life that you're existing in. Whether it was you, whether it was your parents, whether it was a coworker or a boss, whether it was your country's government, whether it was any number of things. The other guy driving opposite of you down the road, you might receive a harvest even from that, right? But understand that everything you experience in your life is a harvest that was sown somewhere. But you reap only what has been sown. So that's in a nutshell. I could go a lot farther into that. I'm trying to keep it brief. But that in the nutshell is the first law of the harvest. You reap only what has been sown. If you enjoy these videos and you want to keep up with them, please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications right next to the little subscribe. I got to do it this way. Right next to the little subscribe thing down there. I can't get the angle right. Down there in the corner of your screen, it should say subscribe on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button, and the next time that I put out a video, the next law of the harvest, you'll get that and you'll get notified of it so you won't miss any of them. Please go ahead and do that. Hit the like button. Like Facebook's page if you're getting these on Facebook. Like our Facebook page so you can get all those things as well that way. But please go ahead and do those things. I'd love for you to stick around for the other 6 laws that are left of the harvest. Have a great day.